Hey everyone, Gary here. So we've been doing this on this whole 3D printing thing, and today I wanted to bring up some of the main points of 3D printing. Where do you get the models from? You got to have a model to print. You've got to have something to print. So where do you get the models from? There's two forms, two ways to get models, and if you stick around to the end of this, I'll show you three of my favorite places to go find models. But there's two ways to come about the models to print in 3D printing. First of all, in order to 3D print, it has to be in an STL format. And most 3D modeling software will export or basically save in an STL format, and then you can put it in your slicer, slice it all up. Primarily, I use Blender. I love Blender. It's free, very, very, very capable and powerful 3D modeling software. You can do animation with it. You can do film editing. You can do all kind of things with it. And it's great. Like I said, free to download. There's even some add-ons you can get that will allow you to do basic CAD drawing. I have a CAD background. Got my first college degree in CAD back in '90, so I just aged myself. But it works great. It works very, very well. And you can sculpt with it, you can model with it, you can animate, but you can take your animations, you can take those models that you've drawn, export them into an STL, and then boom, pull them into your slicer, print them up. You can cut them up into Blender so you can just print out pieces if the pieces are too big for your actual printer table. So the other 3D modeling software that I use is Fusion 360 from AutoCAD. And AutoCAD is a CAD-based system. They do a lot of CAD work for big, big industries, but Fusion 360 is if you're a hobbyist, you can download a free copy of Fusion 360. And Fusion 360 does really, really precise, detailed stuff. Let me show you. So this is a little fish that blows bubbles out of here. And my wife and I bought this for my granddaughter. The problem is the crank is missing. So when we bought it, we didn't notice that it didn't have a crank to it. And you really can't do anything. And if you notice that crank, see the little gear it's got to tie into in there, the hexagon, and it's got to fit in this circle. So you actually have to be able to draw a precise hexagon to go over that, and then a circle, a cylinder, to go inside of that. So, using Fusion 360, I did this. And if you look, there's the little hexagon piece, the crank. I printed all of this out on my printer. Worked perfectly. This is PLA. It worked great. The whole thing. And now it works. Basically saved a toy just by printing it out. But if you need the point I'm trying to get at is the precision of wanting something that fits a certain mold, a certain hex, a certain size. Doing it in Fusion 360 is a lot easier because you can get precise dimensions, and those dimensions are accurate. So that when you transfer it to STL, when you transfer it over your slicer, it's perfect. Blender, if you draw something in Blender, when you transfer it over, you don't know the dimensions on it. Blender is just a sculpting tool, so it's pretty much just going to make something big. You can change the dimensions, but I don't know how accurate they'll let you get. So, that being said, I'm using both until I can find a way to do everything in Blender. I would prefer to do it all in Blender, but right now I'm just going to stick with doing it in Fusion 360 and Blender. Most of the time Blender, but Fusion 360 when I have to do something accurate. Now, if you just want to go out and find somebody's drawn a model for you, if you don't want to take the time to draw it yourself, there are a lot of websites out there that have free downloadable STL files. You download the STL file, it's in a zip, you explode it, you take that STL file and you put it on your machine. One of my favorites is Thingiverse.com, and I'll put links to all of these down in the description below. Thingiverse.com is really good. They have a lot of really cool models. I found a lot of stuff there that's just really interesting. Most of it's free. I do believe there's a couple that you have to pay for. Another one that's really good is Thangs, Thangs. I think it's Angs. They have a really good just a repository of huge models that you can get. And some of them are in multiple pieces, so you kind of have to go through and download all 4 pieces. They're really good. There is Free 3D is another one that they're really good, and Do 3D is another really good one too. Do 3D kind of focuses on the cosplay aspect of it. A lot of helmets, a lot of guns, a lot of weaponry from cosplay. And you can download those as one big file, and all the pieces are in there. So you just print off all the different pieces, glue the component together, and next thing you know, you have a big model to work with. But if that's the main thing, it's just getting the models to print, finding the models to print. Like I said, you can either draw them or you can find them yourself online and just print them out from there. I've done quite a bit of that, plus, you know, the one that I've drawn myself. So it's just, to me, it's really fun to just kind of draw something up, print it out, or find something online that you really want and print it out. You know, I found a model of the space dock from Star Trek. Who doesn't want that thing? So I'm thinking if I can print that out, print a good size one out, put lights in it and stuff like that. One of the other things I plan on doing in the future is I'm working on a Polar Lights 1/350th scale Enterprise refit A from the Enterprise, from Star Trek The Wrath of Khan. And in the movie, there's a scene where the Enterprise flies by and it shows inside the Enterprise, and you can see the Arboretum. There's a forest and there's like a park. Well, this is from the model. So you can see it's got all the little details in there, the little pond and the little water things and the little bench and stuff like that. But it's flat. I want contours. I want to see that river in there. So I'm going to redraw all of that and print it out 3D with the depths. I'm going to even put the little rooms, because there's supposed to be little rooms at the end of these where these bulkheads end here. You're supposed to be able to see like down into a room. I'm going to put that in there in 3D. Things like that, that's the whole reason I bought a 3D printer, was to make my models, my details, the insides of my models that much more impressive. So far, it's working out really good. If there's any other websites that you know of that have really good 3D models that you can download, or if there's websites, or if there's another form of 3D modeling software out there that I'm not familiar with, please, you know, put it in the comments below. Let me know about it. I'm going to put a link to all of the other playlists on my 3D printing playlist. I'll put all those videos on here, and you can check those out. And if you're not a member, if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe, like my videos, and thanks for watching.